There's some pretty strong signals on the band. I don't know, I find mostly I just listen. So, I don't like to randomly tune through the band. I like to have my waterfall. I like to be able to look and see what's going on and jump around and just listen. I'm not fixed on a particular frequency talking to the same people all the time anymore. And so, like I was saying in my other video, I really just have to have this display. I don't care to operate without it. And I'm not willing to compromise. I don't have to. It's not a big deal. So, but when I can't use this with the radio, I just go on the web SDR, because with the way ham radio is anymore, I don't talk on the radio anymore. There's nothing to talk about. What am I going to talk about? Am I going to give the weather report? Listen to somebody else's weather report? You know, I don't know. Am I going to tell everybody about my health? Am I going to listen to everybody else's health? I mean, that's the majority of what you hear on here. Either it's that or it's fake 5.9 signal reports where they ask for the signal report 10 times. You know, a bunch of nets that serve no purpose other than to work all states or whatever. I mean, none of this stuff has any real purpose. It's all really not essential to anything. And most of the conversations aren't really all that stimulating. And I'm not even the most technical ham in the world, but I'll be damned if I sit on here and talk about the weather every fucking day at the same time, every day to the same people. That's stupid. You don't need a radio to do that. But anyway, I didn't get into the hobby to sit here and, you know, do that. That's really kind of crazy. What got me into the hobby was being able to make contacts with somebody really, really far away. And I was just amazed that you could take, like, even a CB radio and talk to somebody on 4 or 5 watts in Australia or Alaska when the band conditions are correct. 4 or 5 watts. Like, wow. Like, CB radio realistically is the original QRP. I mean, you know, it's funny you hear people refer to things too on the radio that really gets annoying. Like, all these people supposedly have passed their ham radio license in their general class or higher, yet they consistently have no fucking clue what the power is inside their house. They call it 110 and 220. I'd have to look it up, but the last time that they used those voltages was a long time. Probably long before any of these people were even born. If you hold an amateur radio license and you don't know what the voltage is coming out of your outlet, and you continually refer to it as 220 or 110, you're a fucking idiot. You don't like it? Stop being a fucking idiot. It's 120 volts, and sometimes it's all the way up to 125. It's 240 volts. You have 120 volts on each leg coming to your panel. There's no fucking 220. There's no 110. And why the fuck do you call it a lamp socket? A lamp socket? Is that the only thing you plug into the wall? A lamp? Like, I'm not trying to be, like, nitpicky, but it's just like, there's a few things I really can't stand about ham radio. It's the doctor's appointment dissertation. It's the incorrect reference to power. It's the fake signal reports. It's all that. It's the guys that tune up on frequency and do all this other crap. It's the people that can't stay far enough away from bleeding over. You know, there's just a whole bunch of, there's this laundry list of stuff. There's the people that don't even know if you have a radio and an amplifier, where do you put your tuner? They don't know where it goes. It's crazy. There's just all these little pet peeves. And butchering the NATO phonetic alphabet and making up stupid acronyms and pet names and stuff. Like, to me, it just sounds like a bunch of CB radio crap. I mean, you don't need to make up all this stuff. We don't think you're cool. I don't think you're cool. Okay? There's just no difference between kilo and kilowatt. You're not any more special. And Quebec is not pronounced Quebec unless you're one of them fruitcakes. You know, when you say Quebec, you sound like a fruitcake. It just doesn't sound right. Quebec sounds like queer. Why would you say Quebec? And then there's a few other ones that they really just like can't seem to say right. I heard one earlier. My name's Dave. Dog, Abel, Victor, Easy. Like, what the hell? Where do you get that from? You know? Like, why? Can't you just say... And I heard guys giving phonetics for their name, Bill or Bob. I'm sorry, if I can't copy your name and your name is Bill or Bob, you're really, really... I'm probably not going to be able to pull it out with phonetics either. And it's just like, what's your call? Or what's your name? You know, oh, my name is Bravo Alpha Bravo. Oh my fucking God. Thank God you used phonetics, because if you hadn't, I would have never figured it out, Bob. I mean, it just blows me away, the stupidity of these people. And last night we were on a live stream and we were listening to this guy. And he's a nice guy. He's a guy in Rarotonga or whatever. He keeps screwing everybody up because he'll work a station and then he'll say his own call sign, clear, with so-and-so. And then one more time he'll say his call sign, clear. And then so people think that he's relinquished the frequency. And he say, no, I'm not clear, or I didn't go QRT. I'm just doing my log, paper log. But if you break with somebody, you say break with blah, blah, blah. This is blah, blah, blah. A break with blah, blah, blah. QRZ? Not, this is blah, 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 clear with blah, 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 clear. And, I mean, I don't think that he understands what he's saying. And then my other thing is these people that do the nets, they don't know what the RST reporting system is. I heard a guy give somebody a 39. Okay? You guys need to look up what RST stands for. Okay? I mean, I can explain it to you, but it doesn't matter. You can't teach stupid people anything anyways, unless you, like, bang it into their head. But, I mean, RST, look it up. I mean, you can't be 39, you can't be 29, you can't be 19. You really can't even be 49, you know? And if you're on a net, stick to simple signal reports, like 5.9, maybe 5.5, you know, 4.4, 33, 22, 21 minimum, rifle shots, blah, 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 all the fancy things they use. Do not give somebody a report of 39 or 49. They're not expecting those kind of numbers. They're never going to figure it out if you're hard to hear. You can't tell somebody they're 49, okay? That basically means you're not that readable, but you have a strong signal. I mean, like, you could be if you had, like, RF on your signal, but, like, how do you get a 49? You know? And these guys on the net, you can tell when they're new, they'll give some pretty weird, wild reports. But it's just it's ridiculous. And then we the other people, like this idiot on the Triple H net that says, "How copy?" Okay, you sound like you don't know English. Just say, "How do you copy?" Not "How copy." I caveman. You too, brute. I Tarzan. You know, you sound like a fucking caveman. How copy? How copy? Say, how do you copy? I think they'll figure it out. You don't need to leave the words out. And this guy gets on the net with his Kenwood 4K wide and thinks he's the best thing since sliced bread. And it's the constant influx of these type of people that are involved in the hobby that after a while, when you've been doing this for 10 years or more and you hear these idiots on the radio on a daily basis, it causes people to lose interest in amateur radio because you realize that you're not really dealing with a bunch of people with either very good social skills or mental health or I guess they must be intelligent in certain areas, or, you know, I mean, because they passed their license, which, you know, for a lot of average people, you know, can't do it. So I'm not saying that hams are stupid, but some of these guys are definitely mentally challenged. And after so many years of, like, putting up with the crap, you just kind of get to the point where you're like, wow, is this ever going to get better, or is it actually getting worse? So, and I like to rant about things about amateur radio to bring it to other people's attention. I don't care what you do on the radio. If I did, I would be on the radio bitching people out all the time. I don't do that. I just don't talk on the radio very much. So, but I can use YouTube as a means to share my opinion on how this hobby is and all the stupid things that people do. And by doing that, there is a small chance that I might be able to correct some of these idiots' behavior by exposing the jammers and the weirdos on amateur radio. Maybe the FCC will watch one of my videos and go after some of these guys. But until that happens, the hobby isn't going to get any better because nobody's afraid. Nobody has any repercussions for running 10,000 watts and bleeding all over the band. None of these contesters are held accountable for their behavior. Nobody's going after these people playing recordings of other people. Nobody's going after these people playing music. Nobody's going after these people jamming the nets and doing other things. You know, there's no, like, code of honor or, you know, nothing. And that's why I said 90% of ham operators really just should be on CB radio, because they need a set of very rigid rules to tell them how to operate, because left to their own devices, they do what we call self-will run riot. Okay? You let them do whatever they want, and they turn it into a shit show. And if you don't think so, then you haven't been on ham radio long enough, and you haven't listened in the right places at the right time. So anyway, that is my rant for the day. Maybe I'll do a new section called the rant for the day. And I know that I sound like I'm angry and I sound like I'm mad. I'm really not. That's just kind of how I am. I sound like that. But really, it doesn't matter. I don't need to sell all my equipment. I don't need your advice to tell me that I should get out of the hobby. I'm an amateur extra class operator. I earned my license the hard way. I'm not a code guy. I passed my test. I didn't get anything wrong on my exam, not a single thing. So either I'm pretty damn smart or I'm really good at managing to memorize all the questions. So before you sit here and you leave some stupid comment, think about that first before you leave your comment. Before you sit here and think that you're better than me, think about that. Okay? So, anyway, that's the rant for the day.